Welcome to the Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast. Music from the wrong side of the tracks. This is a show that drags you through the gritty alleys of sleaze rock, gutter glam, and all forms of dirty rock and roll. And now, here are your hosts, Andy and Gary.
Hey everybody, we'd like to welcome you back once again to another episode of the Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast. As always, my name is Gary, and with me is the creator and co-host of the podcast, Andy. Say hello, Andy.
Hello everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
If you had to put on a pair of blue disposable gloves, Andy, and you had to reach way down into the gutter to pick out somebody worthy of today, who will that be?
Let's kind of scrape the bottom of the barrel. And this week in the gutter, we're going to take a detour into one of rock's strangest side streets, a place where late night comedy circus crashes head first into the world of rock and roll. We're talking about the band Stuttering John. This group was fronted by none other than Stuttering John Melendez, the loudmouth everyman who became a household name from the Howard Stern show and then decides, you know what, I'm going to be a rock star. And for a hot minute there in the mid-1990s, he actually kind of pulled it off.
Watch me.
Before we dive into the guitars and the grit,
That's got to be a record.
let's rewind the story a little bit here. John Melendez, he was never meant to be famous. He's the awkward college intern on the Howard Stern show who couldn't get through a question without tripping over the words. But that stutter made him endearing, and his nerve was legendary.
Yeah, apparently the story goes that there was an intern already in place, and that guy's name was Mitch Fattel, and he was an aspiring comedian. Do you know the name Mitch Fattel, Andy?
I am familiar.
Yeah, he's a second-tier comedian, and I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but a lot of people don't know who this guy is. But what made him famous or stand out to me is he has a very unique delivery with his setup and punchlines of his joke. That's what I remember about him most. But apparently, he sees his career about to take off, and so he's giving the show people at Howard's a heads up, hey, I'm going to be taking off. So he goes to Gary Delabate, and he says, hey, man, I know somebody that would really like to take my place once I leave. The only problem is, I don't know if this would be a problem or not, but the guy stutters pretty badly. And the minute that Gary Delabate heard that he stutters, and knowing Howard, he said, bring him in for an immediate interview. Apparently, Howard likes what he hears, and so they're trying to find a role for John. And so what they do is they decide that they're going to send him out on celebrity interviews and red carpets. And so the team of Jackie Martling and Fred Norris and Howard, they begin crafting a series of questions, the more offensive and ridiculous, the better, and sends poor Stuttering John out, who can't get a word out of his mouth sideways, to ask some of these ridiculous questions to these people. And some of those questions are, he once asked Ringo Starr of the Beatles, he said, what did you do with the money? And Ringo says, what money? And John says, the money that your mother gave you for singing lessons. I guess Ringo was a good sport, and he said, I'll spend it on fish and chips then. He actually asked James Brown, when you do a split, do your testicles hit the floor?
That's why he always screams.
He asked Hall of Fame baseball player Ted Williams, did you ever accidentally fart in the catcher's face? Needless to say, these insane questions are met with the hostility of the guests he's interviewing, which is the cream of the crop, which is, what Howard is looking for. The more ridiculous answer, the better. And John actually asked Chevy Chase once. He says, hey, Chevy, do you actually read the scripts of the movies you choose to make, or do you just go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo?
If you're familiar with his movies, then you'll understand that joke.
Yeah, he actually had the balls to ask Michael Jackson, did you learn how to walk backwards to avoid your father's punches?
Nice.
So, I don't know. And then to round it out, he asked opera legend Luciano Pavarotti, did you ever fart while belting out a high note? I guess, the fart questions are a natural.
But what was the answer?
I don't know. I didn't see that particular interview, but these are the kind of questions that John would ask, and this is what made him kind of the legend that he was. And of course, people cringed and people laughed, and people like Morton down Downey Jr. actually punched, was so incensed by some of the questions John was asking that actually punched him in the head and everything. So there you go. That's a little bit of Stuttering John Melendez.
But underneath all that stern chaos, this guy just loved rock and roll. Big time. Kiss, Cheap Trick, Van Halen, that kind of rock. Loud guitars, catchy choruses, attitude for days. So when Stern fame kind of gave him a little bit of a spotlight, John did what any self-respecting kid raised on arena rock dreams would do. He grabbed a mic and started a band. By the early 90s, the Stern Show was fucking huge.
Yes, it was.
And Atlantic Records, yes, the same label that signed Led Zeppelin and Skid Row, they smelled an opportunity. They thought, hey, this guy's on a national radio show every morning in front of millions. We slap his name on a CD and we might have a hit. So with some major label money behind him, John assembles the Stuttering John Band, a real group, not just some comedy gimmick. He recruited seasoned New York players, guitarists, drummers, and bassists who could actually play.
Well, John actually had a long history of guitar playing on his own and bands under his belt, before the Stern Show, actually. But you're right, he surrounded himself with some players, and we're going to run them down here really quickly here. These are the players that played with John on both of his albums. He had 2 albums, and it was actually John on guitar and lead vocals. And the core band was Bruce Valero on drums, and on bass and background vocals was Nicky Bencivenga. So additional musicians that actually played on both of those albums, though, you had a guy by the name of Bill Titus on guitar and backing vocals. And Andy, we had a guy by the name of Hugh McDonald. Who was that, Andy?
He was a studio player that would go on to become the Bon Jovi bassist.
Bon Jovi bassist after they kicked Alec John Such out of the band for being a tattletale.
Exactly.
There's another guy named Aaron Collins. Who's he, Andy?
He used to play with a band called White Trash. He was a bassist and a keyboardist.
But not Edgar Winter's White Trash.
Not the same.
This White Trash was kind of a funk, horn, metal.
Yeah. They were almost like a ska meets hair metal type of band. It was
I don't know.
A little different for the time. What was the song? Apple Pie, I think, was the one.
Maybe so. The little bit of the video that I saw reminded me of that brief flash in the pan. Remember that band Electric Boys?
Oh, yeah.
Lips and Hips or some shit like that. I can't remember. Anyways, and there's this other cat. He actually co-wrote most of the songs with John on John's first album, the self-titled Stuttering John album, and that is Randy Cantor. And who's he?
He, aside from being the co-writer, he's a multi-instrumentalist, and he's got a really long resume. Like if you look him up on Discogs, just page after page of projects with very well-known bands. But to bring it back to our world, he's got some sleaze rock credentials from working with Lita Ford, Black Eyed Susan.
I like that band a lot. Only one album, but man, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, that was a very good album.
Dean Davidson, formerly of Britney Fox.
Exactly.
Black Eyed Susan.
And Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
It was from a very small town in Louisiana, right next to where my parents lived.
But they were actually from Louisiana and had the nerve to call themselves Baton Rouge, huh?
Yeah, what the hell?
Damn it, Boston.
But also, he's worked with local hair metal band Tough, featuring Stevie Rochelle.
Isn't that the guy who invented the Metal Sludge webpage?
That is indeed the same person.
A hilarious webpage. Lots of information. You should check it out. So, I don't know. I guess, Andy, it was more of a revolving door of talent around Melendez. He's trying to do 2 things at one time. He's trying to have a music career on one hand, and he's working as an intern for Stern on the other. So, I don't know. It's a pretty metal side gig, if you ask me. But that first album of his, that was produced by Lou Giordano. That guy has worked with some pretty heavyweights, or I don't know. He's worked with the Goo Goo Dolls and Paul Westerberg. Westerberg's a heavyweight. I don't know so much about the Goo Goo Dolls, but they certainly moved a lot lot of units, lads.
We did.
So I don't know. After getting this guy to produce, the album had some, I don't know, serious polish to it. The guitars crunch, the drums, they're forefront, and, they sound like they're being hit hard. And John's voice, he's not, he's a stuttering interview question guy. What do you want, But we're going to describe it as gravelly, confident, a little rough around the edges, I would say, because he's not really, known for being a singer.
Right.
But for this particular album and everything, it kind of worked in their favor.
Yeah, his voice really works perfect for this band.
You know something? We've talked long enough, so we're going to give you a taste of Stuttering John. Now, I have to admit, this was a guilty pleasure podcast for me. I got this album strongly, like everybody else did, thinking that it was going to be a novelty record, and because everybody was a Stern fanatic, myself included, and everybody thought that John was funny at the time, and some of us still do, but I went out and got this. I think I found it in a bargain bin somewhere. I don't think I paid full retail price for it. I still have the CD. When I put it on, Andy, I was surprised as hell. I was not expecting the level of musicianship. I was not expecting the clever writing. It hit all the bases that I like because I'm kind of like a crunchy power pop kind of guy anyways.
Right.
If you realize about that time period too, Howard says around that time period, one of his favorite bands was Enough's Enough, and he had them on the show quite a bit, and he would sing their praises, and even said that when he went on vacation, he took only a couple of CDs with him, and it was theirs. So I don't know if subconsciously Stuttering John, trying to please Howard, would craft the songs in the vein of Enough's Enough, or it was just naturally John's songwriting. But there is that. There's a tinge of Enough's Enoughs in some of these things. So we're going to give you a taste again and stop yapping. This isn't the Enough's Enough one. We're going to like Enough's Enough one. We'll play that a little bit later. But this one is called Gypsy Morning. It's a good intro to John. It's got great guitar picking. And what can we say? Give this a chance. Please turn this one up. We say that all the time. This is Gypsy Morning from Stuttering John Melendez.
Everything you did was a show. Modern day romancer, the goal was to see if they go. A vicious hunter, animal libido refined. Nowhere to run to, gypsy's got you in his
the album was kind of proving itself to be a strange mix, kind of, I don't know, I hate to use the term alt-rock, but he's kind of trying to mix a little bit of that with some classic from the heart rock and roll,
Yeah.
I don't want to use, but you have to go with the time period. So I hate making comparisons, but imagine kind of a little bit of Stone Temple Pilot-y, and then you mix a little bit of barroomy, Springsteen-y. I hate using these things, but I guess the music is generally described as straightforward hard rock or Aerosmith infused or influenced rock and roll, I don't know. They're trying to steer clear of the incoming grunge trends that hasn't taken over completely yet, but they're not quite fitting the metal scene either. So I don't know where you would slot them. And, take, for example, all right, we'll take another song off that Stuttering John album, I'll Talk My Way Out of It. That pretty much sums it up, sums his whole life philosophy up. I'll just talk my way out of it.
Right.
This has got really clever lyrics, and this riff kicks out the gate. And imagine like a mid-period snarling Cheap Trick filtered through. Who would you think, Andy?
For the time, let's say Soundgarden.
So you're going to mix Cheap Trick filtered through Soundgarden's what? Fuzz pedal?
Sure.
All right. Well, John said that they even made a video for this, Talk My Way Out of It. And John said that he got, I don't know how he did this, but he said he got Sting and Gene Simmons to appear in the video.
Do you think you had to pay Gene to be in it?
You would think, right?
Right.
But he said he also got a few other people to appear in it too. And some of them are Barry Williams, who played Greg Brady on the Brady Bunch. He had Gilbert Gottfried.
Thank God he didn't have him sing.
Rest in peace, Gilbert. I love that guy. Nuno Betancourt, guitar player, Fantastico from the band Extreme. And he had Grandpa Al Lewis.
Who?
Grandpa Al Lewis in the thing. So anyways, please turn this one up. This is Talk My Way Out of It. This also has a great riff, clever lyrics, and it's as good as anything that was out there on the scene at the time. I don't want to name names, Bang Tango, Tora Tora, Danger Danger, Asphalt Ballet. It's just as good as anything out there. And keep in mind, this is a stuttering announcer and not even really a full-time musician, and this holds up. Play this loud.
Tell me what they want from me. They don't seem to understand. I ain't your horseback dude. She tracked me wannabe. Ain't gonna fit inside your plan. Crazy lady is my lady and my steady thing. Till she started asking why the freak they're coming home so late. She found me pressed in body, stumbled and pocket off my coat. So I told he's just a friend and jammed a number down her throat. I'll tell you something nice, and I told my way out of it. Talk my way out of it. Hey, yeah. I couldn't rush up to it, almost anything. I'm moron without a cause. I like to drive real fast because I hate to think that I'm not breaking any laws. I was doing battle, trying, drinking, sweating, highway star till the comfort on the job was something yanked me from my car. I told him I had a condition and the reason for my speeding was rushed to my physician. Cause my colon's badly bleeding. I'll tell you some lies, and I told my way out of it. I'm a king of alibis, and I told my way out of it. Yeah, I'll do what I want, cause I told my way out of it. Yeah, I'll talk my way out of it.
But here's the rub. Every time someone saw the name Stuttering John, they automatically expected a joke. They wanted punchlines, not really power chords. And that's where the fame turned into a bit of a curse. As John once said in an interview, he couldn't shake that image. People thought of him as Stern's prankster, not a serious musician. Even when he played a solid show, half the crowd was yelling Stern catchphrases instead of lyrics. I mean, how many times do you think you heard Baba Booey or Hey Now or, any number of those phrases? But let's be real, Atlantic Records probably signed him just for the name recognition. They weren't really chasing the next Nirvana. They were chasing Stern listeners with disposable income. But John had ambition. He wanted to earn it. He toured, he rehearsed, he gave a damn, he really tried.
When John was asked when he was signed to Atlantic, he said, hey, do you have anybody that you want to try to write with? And they actually set him up with, believe it or not, Andy, they set him up with Joe Walsh of the Eagles.
That seems like an odd combination.
But apparently they wrote a song together, and the next day when John went over to Joe's house, they couldn't find the lyrics that they had written the previous day. So
maybe they used those lyrics to roll up and smoke whatever that made them so forgetful.
John said that they had to rewrite the song, but they never did really put it on the album. But John says he does have it on his website. To his credit, though, Joe Walsh says that he liked working with John and that John was a great guy.
Oh, that's nice. Positive feedback for him.
Well, John, he did get to tour with some pretty heavyweights at the time, as an opening act. He toured with Ozzy Osbourne, Ted Nugent, Motley Crue, and Collective Soul. So
some very big heavyweights at that time.
I guess, so those are some pretty big names to go out on a tour with. We're going to play another song from the Stuttering John album, and this one's kind of clever as he works in, I don't know if it's purposeful or not, probably is, but listen to as he gets to the line of the chorus where he incorporates his stutter. This song is called Guilt. This is a really cool song too. Fuck guilt. Listen to it. Love it.
As a child, I was really abused.
Unfortunately, 1994 was not a forgiving year for anyone who sounded even slightly old school. The world had shifted away from, quote, fun music and replaced it with heroin chic and misery. John's record comes off a little too slick, too clean, a little too fun. But critics didn't hate it. Some even admitted it was much better than they expected, but it just didn't connect with an audience. The album sold modestly, got a few spins on Stern's show, and that's really about it.
About those album sales, John says himself in a podcast that he sold about 50,000 copies, said that wouldn't be that bad today, but back then it wasn't good, and Atlantic Records dropped him the next year. But
I'm surprised that it's such a low number. I would have thought, just given the volume of Stern's audience, that he could have easily, 100, 200,000 copies.
Well, even that 50,000 there's a bit of controversy as different sites that I went to try to determine this say that he only really actually moved about 10,000 units in the U.S.
Ouch.
But that it went gold in Canada. Now, I don't know what gold is in Canada's rating system. I know in the United States, to get to a gold album, you have to move 500,000 albums. Platinum is 1 million, but I don't know, Canada may have different numbers for sales.
I think it's 25 records there.
My album went plywood. Yeah, so a little bit of controversy, but John says that, he moved about 50,000 of these. So
let's listen to a song off that debut album from Stuttering John. This is the song Daddy's Money. This is a nice song that really moves along, has a couple of really great hooks to it.
And most of these songs that we're playing for you, peeps, by the way, have a good hook, a good chorus. They're all worthy, and this one is no exception. It's got a great chorus. Give it at least till the chorus. And again, hey, all you lads out there, our rating score. We don't have like a rating score. When we play these samples, we usually take it to the chorus or at least through the guitar solo if the guitar solo is worth a damn. So, bear with us. Here we go.
Hold your head,
Then Atlantic pulled the plug, but John didn't.
We're out of here, lads. You know, I don't know. According to the website Discogs, where all the hipsters go for their updated album sales or trying to sell or rarities or whatever, but according to the website Discogs, currently the Stuttering John self-titled album, Andy, there's 33 copies available right now, Andy.
33.
Yeah, and they start at $1.50, Andy.
$1.50.
I know it's rather steep in these times, you know.
Yeah, given this economy, I'm not sure those albums are going to move.
Only $29.99 for shipping and handling, Andy.
Oh, that's it?
$1.50.
That's, I guess, the shining side of this is the CD itself is only $1.50. It's the shipping that'll kill you.
Yeah, isn't that the way it always goes? You know, yeah, like those every add-on to. And if you order right now, we'll send you another one.
In this case, they probably would.
You know, but you have to pay the shipping and handling. That's where they get you, the shipping and the handling.
Yeah.
Like a Kmart Blue Light Special, Andy, 2 of shit is still shit.
Exactly.
Okay. I don't know. John didn't quit. Atlantic said, see ya, lad. And John said, all right, then I'm out. So a few years later, let's say 1998, John, he regrouped. The major label was gone, but the dream wasn't. So he gets another deal, but this one is from Razor and Tie Records. And in 1998, he drops his second album titled Everybody's Normal But Me. And this one, well, this one flew way under the radar. I mean, you got no corporate backing. You've got no MTV push, just John and the band putting it out themselves. And if you go to YouTube and you try to watch this video for Everybody's Normal But Me, it is cringeworthy.
Yeah,
It is
Gary forced this on me today, and I still haven't forgiven him for it.
easily one of the worst piece of shit videos I've ever seen in my life. The budget couldn't have been more than $100 for this thing.
Yeah, I'm betting it was $100 to feed the people that were in the video. Everything else was done for free. He probably borrowed somebody's video camera to film it.
Well, you know, what can you say? He tried to update the sound a little bit, but I think he was misguided in the fact that he really didn't know what identity he wanted to adopt for this album. The sound was a little bit more raw, a little bit more personal. The slickness of the production of the first album was gone. This was kind of, I don't want to say lo-fi, but more barroom kind of rock, you know, kind of with a little bit of a bite. But still, this album has some outstanding music on it too. And again, consider the source, Stuttering John. He's got a couple of tracks, like there's a track on this one called Saint Rita, and he's got another song called No Religion. And these two songs, they show more, I guess, emotional depth, you know, less comedy based, you know.
Yeah.
You could kind of tell that John been through the musical, you know, the musical ringer already. He's, you know, tried out the fame, but, you know, disappointment, the grind of trying to be taken seriously when you're stern sidekick and everybody views you as a novelty act, you know. I don't know. In its own scrappy, kind of stubborn way, that makes it kind of way more interesting than most celebrity albums that are out there, you know.
Right.
I mean,
You mean like Bruce Willis's?
you know, the return of Bruno. We didn't know that you left, you know, and you're returning. All right. I have that on 8-track, by the way, but that's a different story for a different day. You know, this is a really good song as well. We're going to play another one. This is from Everybody's Normal But Me. This track is called Saint Rita. It's got hooks galore. I really like this song a lot. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is Saint Rita from Stuttering John.
What you started.
gonna kill me, put a gun to my head.
I don't know. The tragedy, I guess, or maybe the comedy, you know, Andy, it's always that comedy and tragedy mask.
Right.
You know, it just, no matter what he did, John couldn't escape the shadow of the being in Howard Stern's shadow, you know.
Right.
You'd have assholes at every gig, the hecklers, like you said earlier, yelling Baba Booey or whatever the fuck it was, whatever you know. You can't build, you know, a solid following and everything when half your crowd is quoting, you know, old radio bits.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that Stern shadow loomed large.
I don't know. There's a lot of other celebrities out there. There's Keanu Reeves and Dog Star, right? There's the Bacon Brothers with Kevin Bacon and, you know, what other celebrities out there that have bands, Andy?
I think Russell Crowe has some kind of band, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Yeah, so I don't know. But here's the thing, you know, John kind of had to take it like a pro. I mean, that's what you're known for. So he'd kind of, you know, lean into it, flip him off, and still crank out his set, trying to do the best he could. So he might have been a punchline in one world, but in the clubs, he was just another guy chasing that rock and roll buzz like everybody does. And that's kind of what makes this story kind of great, because underneath the celebrity baggage, he actually cared about his music. And so, I don't know. We've been playing some rockers for you here, and you know, we're going to give you a little bit of, I don't know, every band had to have a ballad. This is kind of ballady. This is the song Mary Ann from Stuttering John. And the thing about this song is, while I was listening to it, I couldn't help but think, you know, I've heard this before. But there's something going on. Yeah. I've heard this somehow before.
Yeah, very familiar.
And so the more I dug around in my mental brain trying to figure out what it was, I realized that the verses of this song, Mary Ann, are real close to the band The Offspring. Do you remember that song, Self-Esteem, Andy?
Yeah, I do. It was inescapable.
Yeah, well, when you're listening to Mary Ann, the first thing that sometimes will come to your mind is, I've heard this before, and if you do, it's The Offspring's Self-Esteem. But here's the thing. There are two different speeds. Offspring is a little bit faster. John's is a little bit slower. Offspring released their song in 1994, whereas John didn't release his until 1998. I don't think it's close enough for plagiarism, but you can definitely see the similarities.
Yeah, there's definitely that same feel there. But yeah, not a direct ripoff, but once you know what it sort of sounds like, you can't not hear it.
Yeah, some songs are like that. You know, and Andy, I want you to know, again, going back to the hipster Discog website.
Yes.
I want you to know that this album, Everybody's Normal But Me.
Right.
Andy, currently there are 35 copies available, Andy.
Only 35.
And they start at 60 cents.
60 cents.
You heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. 60 cents.
What a deal.
Go out and get it immediately, post haste. Do not waste time.
That's got to hurt when you see that.
I can't recall the first time we met. She had a face that you could never forget.
Well, tell me more, Andy.
By the early 2000s, the Stuttering John band kind of faded out. John jumps to TV. He famously joined The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and later on becomes a podcaster, a political ranter, and a Twitter combatant. But if you go back and spin these two albums today, you can hear something real. I mean, it's a guy who didn't just want to be famous. He wanted to play. It's easy to laugh at the idea of Stuttering John, the rock star, but the records kind of hold up way better than anyone would expect.
I guess to prove that point, we're going to put a song in here, and this one is, I can't tell you how good this is. Think Cheap Trick when you hear this, and the lyrics are very clever and witty. This song is called No Religion. Once again, Stuttering John.
Moves along very well. This is a great song.
Well, I guess these songs are kind of time capsules of that mid-90s movement where everybody thought to themselves, even shock jocks and prank interviewers, that, yeah, I can make this work. I can do this, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think the Stuttering John band ever got the glory. You know, they certainly didn't get the MTV buzz or the radio hits or the respect, you know, but they kind of did get something cooler. They got kind of a cult following of weirdos, your Stern fans and genuine rock listeners, I guess, who dig underdog stories, because let's face it, you know, rock and roll's never been about perfection, Andy. It's about nerve. You know, it's about the guts to stand on stage knowing everybody's waiting for you to screw up, but you do it anyways.
Yeah, it does take a lot of balls to get up there and do it. This could not have been easy for him, like an easy transition for John, because, you know, like I said, Stern's shadow looms large, and there's a lot of expectations on you over this, and sadly just didn't meet him.
I don't know. I guess that's John Melendez in a nutshell, you know. He might have stuttered through his questions, stumbled through his fame, and sung his way into obscurity, but at least he did it, and in the rock and roll gutter, Andy, that counts for a hell of a lot.
You're goddamn right. So that's the tale of the Stuttering John Band, a weird, loud, and oddly respectable, depending, chapter in rock history. Not every band's built for the spotlight, obviously. Some are just meant to live in that weird twilight zone between joke and genuine. And that's where this one really shines.
And I guess, Andy's going to introduce our last song, but I just want to say before you hear it, part of the problem, I guess, in Andy and my humble opinion on this Everybody's Normal But Me album was the fact that John really didn't establish an identity, and he kind of appeared to be, just going whatever seemed to be the current trends of the time.
Yeah, you hear like Alice in Chains, you hear maybe Candlebox, Matchbox 20 even on one song. We thought it kind of had that feel to it. Yeah, so it's like there was no identity to this album. It was just kind of all over the place.
And to emphasize that point, this closing song has got a rap guest vocalist by the name of Omar Sharif, not to be confused with the legendary actor from back in the day. But this song comes off, and Andy, what song is this going to be?
This song is called Cabbies Won't Go to Harlem.
And this is way outside the box of anything that we've played you so far, and taking into consideration that this is supposed to be funny. It probably is still true to this day, the lyrical content, but this is going to be rap in the verses, but it's going to be hard rock in the choruses. It's funny and probably still true. And we're going to play this one in its entirety on the, kind of the closing out, because the tagline that makes it work doesn't come till the very end of the song. Right. So now take in consideration the people that hate rap, just deal with it with the verses, and it's a weird mixture, and it just kind of sums up Stuttering John's career. So this is called Cabbies Won't Go to Harlem.
Yeah, Stuttering John, master my collaboration. Check it. This cash account is fit, so hit the fat mint. I need to get to 125 and real quick. The cops don't mind picking me up, so what the fuck? Is you drunk? Is you drinking? So stop the stick thinking. He wanted to tell me about it, how it wasn't this time. I left me thinking straight crime. About the Lincoln Tunnel, but if I pull the 9, I bet you'll make it there on time. Stuttering John hit me on the line just to try to nail him to a crucifix. They were at a 2 and a 6. For a brick, he's feeling sick. The frame was narcotics in the body up in Howard Stern studio. The hottie tried to sell us soul.
See what I'm saying? I'm trying to live. I can't even get a cab. I work 3.7 million. I can't even get a cab uptown.
Cabbies won't go to Harlem.
I gotta get there. I gotta get there.
Cabbies won't go to Harlem.
That's fair. I gotta get there.
Cabbies won't go to Harlem.
Come on. I gotta get there.
Cabbies won't go to Harlem.
In the back street of Howard Beach, Giuliani's pay cash for lifted cars from the streets. To greet us, they would beat me for luxurious automobiles that I was still with only Momos and Pirellis. I do the felony, but only if the price is right. You want a flex, I bet you see me in your Lex tonight. Now money grip don't even flip while you slip. Have to put this clip in that ass. Don't dip and dash, it's a little too fast.
Cabbies won't go to Harlem.
What? I gotta get there.
Cabbies won't go to Harlem.
Come on. I gotta get there.
Cabbies won't go to Harlem.
We gotta get there.
Cabbies won't go to Harlem.
Hey, can I get a call, please? On Harlem?
Where are you?
Brooklyn.
No, I'm sorry, hon. We don't pick up out there.
No, I need to get to Harlem. Is there any way you can send me a cab?
I don't know, honey. Maybe you should get on a train, because we don't send cabs out there. There's nothing I can do, honey.
Come on, man. I need to get to Harlem. Can I get to Harlem, baby?
I'm sorry. You're going to have to call somebody out there.
Oh, it's like that? Fuck you.
Now we too intelligent to hold the fold, so we demonstrate and articulate to unravel the mold. To proceed to the swing of things, accumulating G's and things, analyze everything the society brings. So I won't sing through the light through my third eye. I survive sometimes to have the nerve to do a drive-by. With Stuttering John in the 4-wheel drive, but I build with the guard so I never kill time.
Cabbies won't go to Harlem.
Gotta get there.
Cabbies won't go to Harlem.
Gotta get there.
Cabbies won't go to Harlem. Cabbies won't go to Harlem. Can you please
ahead. Can I just get there?
Now, Andy and I are going to give you just some random closing notes on Stuttering John. And Andy will give you one, and I'll give you one. We'll go down the list and try to close this episode out. So here we go. Andy, what's on the top of the list?
In 2008, Melendez wrote, produced, and starred in his own full-length movie feature titled One Too Many.
So Stuttering John has his own movie out.
Apparently so, but I don't think anyone's ever seen it.
I'm going to look for that and see how incredibly...
Well, check your garage. It might be in your pile of movies.
Andy, you know that John Melendez once ran for Senate in California?
Was that a serious thing, or was it like just like a joke run?
Well, he obviously didn't make it, so, but he did run, I think. It could have been just a publicity stunt.
Right. John still tours and will be performing in the Fort Wayne Comedy Club in Fort Wayne, Indiana on December 13th, 2025. Tickets range from $22 to $45.
So he's still out there touring, trying to do a stand-up comedy kind of a thing, and he's actually going to be on stage next month on the 13th, huh?
Yeah, still hitting the road.
He's been doing his own Stuttering John podcast since 2018.
And Melendez's book, Easy for You to Say, was released in October of 2018.
His autobiography, Easy for You to Say. Good title. He has those two albums. He's got a self-titled Stuttering John on Atlantic Records in 1994, and he's got Everybody's Normal But Me on the Razor and Tie label in 1998.
He's actually suffered 2 strokes. I don't have a lot of information on that, but that's 2 strokes too many.
All right, let's just say this and get this out of the way. He spent 14 years on Howard Stern from 1998 to 2004, Andy.
That's an impressive run for somebody.
And then after that, he spent 10 years on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
That's an even more impressive run, honestly.
Yeah, besides being The Tonight Show's nightly announcer and staff writer, he also appeared in the show's comedy sketches and did correspondent pieces as well.
So did you do more of those uncomfortable questions with people?
It could have been a ripoff. That's what Howard claimed. The bit that Jay did was a ripoff. Howard thought everybody ripped him off.
Right, exactly.
Everybody took his shit,
Yeah, exactly.
Believe it or not, John's film credits include Howard Stern's Private Parts in 1997. That seems natural, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But he was also in the movies Dude, Where's My Car in the year 2000.
With Ashton Kutcher.
Meet Wally Sparks in 1997.
Can't remember who's in that.
Is that Rodney Dangerfield? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
He was in the movie Airheads with in 1994. That is what?
Adam Sandler, Steve Buscemi, and the Mummy guy, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, there you go, Andy. He was also in the movie Osmosis Jones in 2001 and the movie True Crime New York City in 2005.
Not familiar with either.
Believe it or not, his television credits include I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here in 2003.
Good old reality TV.
I believe stories go that the people that saw him on that show led to him getting breaks and might have led him to help in getting him his album deal or something along the lines there. They saw him there first or whatever.
Yeah, somehow, some sort of career boost out of it.
He was also on Celebrity Fear Factor in 2006 and had guest starring roles in the sitcoms Wings in 1990 and Baywatch Nights in 1995.
But nobody ever saw that.
Yeah, probably not, right? He was also the voice of Bob in the animated series Tripping the Rift in 2004 on the Sci-Fi Channel, Andy.
I vaguely remember that title.
And I guess, let's see, I've got one little personal thing. When he made that Stuttering John album, that first release, he actually had a little mini tour that he actually went across the country on. And believe it or not, he makes it all the way out to Arizona. Now, I have the CD, and he's playing at this little one-off club on the west side of Phoenix that's not normally known for housing live bands or whatever. So it's this rinky-dink one-off. But I make the effort, and I get in the vehicle, and I go all the way over there, and I see him. And the band is really good. He's really good. The crowd loved him. I enjoyed the shit out of the show. And then after the show, I'm hanging around to see if I can get an autograph on my CD, Andy.
Right.
But here's the deal. He's all that. And that was the complete attitude that he had. He was all that. And when I finally get to him to sign the CD, he makes a sweeping move across the CD. And I've seen better signatures on a Richter scale, Andy. I've seen better heart patient chart readouts. Talk about unreadable. He could just no effort whatsoever, just scrawled across it. And that's my autograph. And hey, you kids don't believe me. I'll put a photo of this up on the Rock and Roll Facebook gutter page, and you can judge for yourself. So he had an attitude about him even back then of like, I'm all that and I'm the star. You know, that was kind of a turnoff. But
yeah, that's a shame because, you know, kind of coming out of nowhere and getting a little bit of fame, then letting it all go to his head. That's just a shame.
Well, you know, I mean, what would you do? You know, I mean, you're a comedian, a sidekick, stuttering announcer, and now you've got a taste of fame, and, you know.
Yeah. But you see a lot of people that get in the same position and they appreciate their fans.
Well, normally you don't bite the hand that feeds.
You shouldn't.
You know. But anyways, that's my, I actually saw him live. So that's my live story with my shitty CD autograph story. And I guess last but not least, Andy, in doing research for this episode, and again, we were trying to focus mostly on how good the music was and the musical aspect of John's career, not all the other shit that went on around it. But apparently, Andy, he's fairly hated today because of, I don't know, his podcast views, I guess, are political or whatever.
Who would ever go to Stuttering John for political advice or commentary? I mean, seriously.
There's actually a couple of websites. Their whole website purpose in life is to do nothing but to shit on Stuttering John Melendez. Whether or not it's deserved or not, I can't begin to tell you, because to tell you the truth, guys and gals out there that may be listening, we just wanted to focus on John's music because we thought it had merit, and nobody took him seriously because he was a buffoon on the Stern Show. That's all it was, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a website called YouTube channel, I think, called Uncle Rico. There's another website called, I think, the Dabbleverse. And for whatever reason, their entire reason for existing is just to bag on John Melendez. I don't get it. I don't get it.
That's a lot of time to dedicate to somebody that you hate.
You know, and it's ongoing to this day. It's current. Look it up for kids if you want to on yourself. But anyways, we have talked too long, and I would like to say to everybody that's still listening out there, thank you very much for hanging out with us as long as you have. I am now going to turn this over to Andy to give you the final words.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you hanging out with us this long. As always, give us a follow on our social media, shoot us an email, get in touch with us, talk to us, whatever. And as always,
send money, little green pieces of paper that you find in anybody's wallet.
Get it out of your parents' wallet and send it to. But thanks, everybody. We do appreciate it. And remember, stay trashy, my friends. And to our fallen comrade, Mr. Mink, I think Pink Floyd said it best. Wish you were here. You're here in spirit, brother.
Godspeed, Mink, wherever you may be.
You've been listening to the Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the dirty world of rock and roll. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us reach more listeners like you.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast for all the latest updates, news, and more.
Got questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes? Reach out to us at rnrguttermail@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
So join us again next time for another wild ride through the raw and gritty side of rock and roll. So until then, keep it trashy.